Well, hello, everyone, and welcome in. Welcome to another episode of Buddhist Biohacker. I am your host and mystic guide, Lisa. Welcome in to everyone who's joining in the live. Please feel free to share all of your comments and questions. I love them so much. And I will be we're going to be doing some live readings today. This is my brand new show. Brand new show concept, we'll call it, but it's called Quantum Seer. And really, this show is just a way for me to offer to you some moon ceremony and some readings and a little dharma, a little teaching, a little wisdom. So welcome in to everyone who's joining in the live. And for all of you who are watching the replay, please, again, comments, questions. I love them so much. So welcome in, everyone. And we're actually going to begin. It is the full moon, January 25th, 2024. I don't know about you, but I find myself writing all sorts of different years. It's not like 2023 on accident and then 2024. It's truly, I'm writing all sorts of weird years. Like the other day I wrote 2004. So we're most certainly time traveling as always. So I'm trying out some new technology today. So I have a new card cam. That's what's going on there, so that you can see the cards as I lay them out and do some readings here in a little bit. And we're really going to begin, though, with a full moon ceremony. It is just the full moon about 20 minutes ago. So I invite you to just sit however is comfortable for you. Really just sit. You can sit in a chair. You can sit down on your bed or on the floor like I am. I'm sitting on a block, actually. So you can sit however it feels comfortable to you and just come into a space of self. So just being with yourself here, and breathe. And begin to close down your eyes. And we're just going to come into our own being. Coming into our own being here. We have all these planets shifting into Aquarius, and that Aquarian energy is really vibrant. It's really, I talk about diamond beauties, and it's this turquoise, diamond, crystalline light of Aquarius that I'm really feeling as we shift into this Aquarian energy. It's really expansive and creative and beautiful. So I'm really loving that, very much so. And as we think of that expansiveness, we're going to begin to expand our awareness in the body. So again, seated, eyes closed. We're going to dive into a little full moon meditation before we get into our readings today. And I'd love for you to begin to drop into your heart center. So drop into that heart center. The seat of the soul. And we'll begin to cultivate our inner refuge by breathing in. And as we exhale, let's release all that's stuck in our mind. Everything that's stuck in our mind, just release it from our space. With each exhale breath, just releasing the tension, the stress of the day, how the mind moves, wanders. And bring your awareness down to the feet. And just notice your feet and their connection with the earth. And allow yourself to really feel your feet grounded into the earth. Feel each and every toe with your mind's eye, draw an outline of the heel of the foot. Feeling the chakras, the energy centers of the feet opening up and beginning to tingle. The palm of the foot expanding and creating space for energy to come inside of it. And begin to bring that earth energy up through the feet into those ankle chakras and the ankle joint. And just imagine this earth energy swirling around the bones and the joints and the tissue, allowing the ankle joints to come open. Our ankles are part of our support system. So we're clearing out the negative energy in our support system and bringing that earth energy, that grounding energy up through the legs and up around our sit bones and our hips and our pelvic floor, around the pelvis and the womb, coming up into the belly button, into the solar plexus, and allowing this earth energy to activate the solar plexus in a new and different way. And just become curious. Become curious about the solar plexus and how does that feel when your solar plexus is engaged with earth energy. How is that feeling for you? Allow that earth energy to ground you and root you in your security and your safety of the low body. On your next inhale breath, bring your awareness to the crown chakra, the top of the head. And imagine as though there were this lotus flower on the top of the head that's opening up, and allow the cosmic energy to come flowing into the crown. Imagine the love coming from the universe itself, from source itself, into the crown chakra and coming down through and melting over the face, this liquid love, this liquid Shakti, this gold and pink light, the rose gold energy of Mary Magdalene and the Mary complex. Just imagine this gold and pink and rose-hued light pouring down the face, down the back of the skull, around the teeth and the jaw, into the sinus cavities and out the ears, filling every part of the head, cleaning and clearing the head with divine, universal love, unconditional love. And bring that universal light all through the throat, clearing out the throat, clearing out our thyroid and our ability to speak our truth. Coming down the neck, into the thymus gland at the heart, the seat of the soul, and down into the solar plexus. And in that solar plexus area, that earth and that cosmic energy are mixing and melding and creating this symphony of color and light in the center of your being. And then imagine that light blasting out of every pore of your skin, the largest organ in the body, every pore of your skin blasting with this rainbow light of earth and cosmic energy, filling up your auric field and allowing your entire body to activate with this gold and pink and rainbow hues of light. Take a nice deep breath, and with your eyes still closed, just allow this light activation to happen in the body. Allow this light activation to bring love into your field and to release any hate, tension, self-loathing, stress, restriction. Release it from your space. And place your hands on your heart. Come into the heart space and imagine as though you are just diving into the lotus flower of the heart. The seat of your soul, your truth, your dharma. And repeat to yourself or out loud, I am that. I am enough. I am. Release your hands. Bring your chin to your chest. Feel the stretch at the back of the neck and slowly flutter your eyes open. Coming back to center. Coming back here into the space. Welcome back. And as I asked Spirit today of our lessons, our teaching for this full moon, the message I got was existence already accepts you. Existence already accepts you. You do not have to earn it. You are already worthy. You are that. I am that. And I thought, what a beautiful message. You know, I shared on Instagram a post today, love pours forth. And it came from the song that started my day today, which I also posted on Instagram on that post, that is just so beautiful. And the message of the song was love pours forth from the heart of the universe. And it brought me to tears. Took my kids to school, driving home, chanting, singing in the car. And this song just moved me to tears because I could feel that love pouring forth from the heart of the universe. And I wanted to share that with you today. I wanted to offer you that same inspiration that existence already accepts you. So as we move into this new chapter, it feels like a new chapter. And it feels like now this full moon is the new year, doesn't it? Versus January 1st. I feel like we're finally in the new year. This is finally it today. This is New Year's Day for me. And this is a time of acceptance, of accepting ourselves for who we are and allowing us to be ourselves. I can't tell you how many times, I'm a Scorpio, so with a Cancer rising. So for those of you who know astrology, it essentially means I like to kind of keep to myself. And here I am on YouTube, right? It's probably my Leo moon that I'm here. But anyway, I'm sharing to say that it's hard for me to be fully myself, especially being kind of a weirdo, right? Psychic medium, I channel interdimensional beings. I'm fascinated by the occult wisdom. I study yoga and Ayurveda. I do all these things. And what do I share? What do I not share? What do I say? How do I share what I believe in? And it's bigger than a fear. It's not, I know some people in the audience, think there's a fear, and it's not really a fear. It's more of a discernment of how do we put our highest and best selves out every day and also 100% be authentic to who we are. And that's what I'm working with this year. And so again, I just want to share this message with you, and then we're going to move a little bit into psychic readings. But the message today, this full moon, January 25th, 2024, from Spirit is existence already accepts you. You do not have to earn it. You are already worthy. You are that. I am that. And so I really love that. I'll try to share that out on the community page when we're done today, for sure. So I'm going to try to get this card cam back on. It kind of did its own little weird thing here. So let me see if I can get it. I'm playing with some new technology, and it's... I don't know if it's my friend or not. I need to sort out what I'm doing, but that you can see, I think, probably like what's up with my cards and whatnot on here. So part of this new show, Quantum Seer, and welcome in. Please share your comments. Please share where you're from. I'd love to hear how the full moon is impacting you. It was absolutely beautiful this morning at sunrise, just gorgeous here in Colorado. So please share your comments. And I am going to do some live readings for you today. So if you have questions or things you're struggling with, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I will absolutely respond to those when we get to that part of the show. So each time we do this show, my intention is to do this new show. Melbourne Beach. Hello. Hi, Carrie. I love you so, so much. Oh my gosh, I got to put you up on the screen. Carrie is just a dear, dear teacher and guide in this community. Thank you, Carrie. I'm so happy to see you. So thank you for being here. So I am going to offer this show every full and new moon. We have done moon circles and moon ceremonies for, 4 or 5 years or more. Thank you, Carrie. I love you too. And so we've done moon circles forever in the community. I've led them. And so I want to continue that tradition. So I'm going to be offering this show on the full and new moon. And each time we have a show, I want to offer a teaching around psychic readings. I have been reading people since 2006, June 10th, 2006. So this year it'll be 18 years that I have been reading people, and I've learned a lot of tough lessons. Like, they certainly weren't all easy. I've learned some hard lessons. I've had amazing stuff happen. I've had horrible stuff happen, and I've helped people through so many things that have been happening in their life. And so we're going to start lesson number one. I was thinking, like, what's lesson number one about getting a reading? Well, lesson number one is, why do we get a reading? You know, why do we get a reading? Why do you get a psychic reading? And I thought, well, geez, what a great question. And welcome in, Cindy. Hi. Ooh, chilly Alberta. I wonder what the temp is, Cindy. There, we're in the 50s here in Colorado, which is really lovely. So why do we get a reading? And so this made me think of my very first reading I ever got, that I got. So I thought I'd share this story with you because it's a special story. So when I was 17, I moved to Colorado for college. I graduated high school a year early, and believe it or not, I have a culinary degree. So I moved to Colorado. I was 17. I'm going to go to culinary school and learn to be a chef. And up to this point, okay, at 17 years old, I'm already reading tarot cards. I started reading tarot cards probably age 15-ish, maybe 16, but I think it was 15. So I was already reading cards for my friends, predicting stuff, like, loved my cards. I'd had mystical experiences all of my life. So I had seen spirits. I'd had some past life experience flashbacks happen. I had always an avid lucid dreamer. So I had all these, like, things that always happened in my life, and things I was very interested in. I journaled. I was passionate about music, very artistic and creative. So up to 17, all of my mystical experiences, empathic experiences, lucid dreams were sort of this part of me that wasn't really explained, but it didn't really matter that it wasn't explained, if that makes sense. So I really didn't need to know the answers. That was who I was. And my whole family is gifted in some way and highly creative. So I was never stifled. I was never, told I was crazy or any of those things. Like, my parents were supportive, and they also had their own creativity and mystical kind of fascinations with things. So here I am, I'm 17 years old, and I'm at culinary school, and I'm in class, and there were only 3 of us girls in class, if you can believe that. It was mainly men. And one of the gals, we were on a break, and one of the girls in my culinary class said, "You will not believe this. I went and had a psychic reading with this psychic." And I was like, "What?" And y'all, this was 1996. Okay. So that's dating me a little bit, but it was 1996. So in 1996, people did not talk about psychic readings. I think we can all agree. It wasn't really something that everybody talked about. There was no YouTube stuff. There was no, Lisa Williams and John Edwards. Like, this was like kind of still pretty taboo. And I was like, wow. And it was wild that she was even telling me in hindsight, right? Thinking back. So she tells me about her reading and what she found out. And I just, in my heart, was like, I need to go see this psychic. I want a psychic reading. I felt like I had such a fascination with the occult. I'd been reading cards. I had these experiences, and I was wanting to connect with someone like me, maybe, I don't know. I think I just wanted the reading. So my very first psychic reading, I went to this psychic here in Colorado, and I still know her to this day. She's like a spiritual mom archetype for me. And she's still doing readings to this day in her 70s. And I went to her, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go see this psychic. And I sit down in the chair, and she lays out her cards, and she looks at me, and she goes, "You're a psychic." And And I remember looking at her being like, wait, what? Because I never would have said that then. It took me years to say I am psychic. I mean, to come on YouTube and say I'm a psychic medium is pretty wild, because in 2006, I was an intuitive tarot reader when I started reading people, because I didn't want to share all this. I was scared about it, like we all are, right? We're not sure like what to own or what not to own when it comes to our own inherent gifts. And so, yeah, she told me in that reading that I was psychic. She told me that my boyfriend was cheating on me, which he totally was. And told me a lot of other things as well. And that really began my journey of psychic readings. And so, why do we get a psychic reading? I'd love to hear from the audience. If any of you have had readings, what are some of the reasons that you have gotten psychic readings? And I thought what I would do is kind of put out the question, like, what was I looking for? And what are you looking for when you get a psychic reading? And part of what I want to do is kind of shift away from this idea that we need a psychic, and really shift to this, I'd say it's a new mindset, which is we are psychic within ourselves. And so what are we looking for when we connect with somebody else? And for me, I was looking for validation of who I was, an affirmation of what I knew. I think I wanted to be seen. And when I think through all the years of reading people and why folks have come to me, I think for the most part, we want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be held. We need a space for us to just be ourselves and to have a conversation and to talk about our life and have space for that. And so when I first started reading people in 2006, it was really about being right. I wanted to make sure that I was right, I was accurate, and sharing the information. And while that's still part of it, right? You want to be an accurate psychic if you're doing this work for a living. But for me, the deepening over the last 18 years, almost 18 years, is that I really want to make space for anyone who is in my office or on my Zoom or connected with me, is creating space for you to be able to be yourself, to be heard, to say the things that maybe you can't say to anyone else. I mean, I think, we say things to our psychics that we would never say even to a therapist, right? I think. And so this idea of needing to share our truth, and oftentimes, I was kind of, this idea about what I was going to talk about today came up a few weeks ago at like 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. And some of the notes that I wrote down for myself was, over the years, a lot of times we're scared of what we know, or we don't trust our intuition, or we don't want to hear, we don't want to hear what our intuition is telling us. And so sometimes readings can be hard because it's a mirror, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, like this thing that I knew was true is really true. And I need to come to terms with that, which goes back to our full moon practice, which is acceptance. We're already accepted by existence, and it's up to us to accept ourselves and our truth and our life and where we're at. Let's go to the comments for just a minute. Carrie's sharing, I look for insight on direction and affirmation, that I know what I know. Yep. And Cindy, I got a reading to try and figure out my purpose. Yeah. Sometimes it's easier for someone to look from a 50,000 foot view at what our purpose is than us trying to spin and figure it out. So why do we get a reading? We get a reading to be validated, to have someone hold us, have someone see us and hear us. This is why we do it. And we do it sometimes because we're spinning in our own stuff. And when we are spinning, we need someone to yank us out of it, right? We need someone to kind of pull us out and hold us in truth and our own truth and ask the questions that really matter. My readings nowadays are a lot of questions versus just telling information, because I want to support you to find your truth with me holding that space for you. I think it's really important for us in this time to start accessing our own truth and our own gifts. And that's something that I want to help with as well. So the other part of our Dharma talk, or our teaching, or wisdom today, before we get into some live readings, is what is fate and destiny versus creation? And what is karma too? What is fate? What is karma? I often say I'm not a fatalist, and I don't know if we know what that means. So I want to talk about that. So to me, fate and destiny is something that's kind of set in the timelines. So I do believe that some things are fated or destined. And a lot of times it might have to do with karma, which we're going to talk about. And so when we think of fate and destiny, while there are some things that are kind of locked in the timelines when we look into the future, there are also a lot of things that we can change. And I really want to drive the message home that we create our life. We create our life. And when I look at your cards, I'm looking at what you're creating and your current trajectory. I am not looking at something that is set in the timelines. And oftentimes when we talk about what the cards are saying, or what spirit's saying if I'm channeling, or what an ancestor's saying if I'm doing mediumship, a lot of times what I'm talking about, or what spirit really is saying through me, are things that want change. They're an opportunity for change and for healing. And so you don't have to feel stuck by the answers. And I think we get stuck by the answers sometimes in a reading. And so I want to talk about, what is karma? So karma are actions driven by intention. Okay. And I have a few books here because, yes, I am that person. And one of the books is my own book, Enlightenment Pie. And this is my new book that just came out. And I want to share because on page, it's page 51, I talk about karma. And I just want to kind of share something here. So the term karma is often misunderstood and misused. Many people view karma as something that is predetermined or fated without realizing that they are still actively creating karma through their actions and choices. Good actions lead to positive karma, while bad actions or choices lead to negative karma. In the Tibetan bone tradition, which is something that I teach, is karma is viewed as the principle of cause and effect, where every action, whether positive or negative, leaves an imprint on one's mind that will influence future experiences. It is believed that individuals can create new karma through their thoughts, speeches, and actions, and that the accumulation of positive karma can lead to favorable circumstances in future lives, while negative karma can lead to suffering and obstacles. And you can purify karma in the bone tradition through meditation, prayer, and virtuous actions. So, yes, there's karma. Yes, things are karmic, right? Okay, so that's true. And yes, we have other lifetimes where we're experiencing other things and we bring that karma into this space. But here's the quantum part of it. There is no time or space. So that means that right now, you might be living 800 different lifetimes at the same time. That's right. 800 lifetimes at the same time. And I don't care who you are. There are very few people, at least that find me in my community. So I'll preface it with that. There are very few people that have only had 1 or 2 lifetimes. We've all been here a bunch of times. We've all been in samsara, in this cycle of existence, just rolling that hamster wheel down the road. And we're creating things. We're creating relationships that we bring back into our life in other lifetimes. We create obstacles for ourselves. We create opportunities for growth. We create abundance. We create positive karma. We create these experiences through all of our other experiences. And it's all happening all at once, all right now. So here's the beauty of that. By creating a life of a sattvic life, a life of purity, a life that is virtuous, by meditating, prayer, kindness, feeding the hungry, offering service, all of those things, and acting in integrity and in alignment. By doing those things, guess what happens? We create positive karma, and we're purifying karma across multiple lifetimes at once, not just this lifetime. And everything we're doing in all these lifetimes is creating things at once. And this is why soul retrieval and shamanism is so powerful, because we're actually retrieving the fragments from that lifetime and kind of closing that lifetime down and magnetizing that life force energy into this lifetime. Truly, the idea of enlightenment or nirvana, as I believe it today, is that it is truly just bringing all of our lifetimes together in one lifetime so that we can live in this existence right here and right now. So yeah, there's karmic stuff that happens. And when you come for a psychic reading, I'm going to point out if there's a karmic knot or not. I have, some clairvoyant tools to see those things. You can look in your Akashic records. There's all sorts of ways that I can find that out for you, and that honestly you can find out for yourself, hopefully, if you're learning and developing your gifts. But what I want to say is, when you come and you say, what's happening with this relationship? I just don't understand it. Well, there may be karma there. But the karma isn't fate. And that's where I want to, point out here that I'm not a fatalist, meaning I believe we can create and change our life. And while there are some things that can be fated, the karma isn't fated. The karma is just creating an opportunity or an obstacle, a positive influence or a negative influence. That's what the karma is doing. The karma can be cleared. The karma can be purified. It can be healed. And it can be done in many, many, many ways. There's hundreds of healers out there that do that. And we all have our own kind of practice, right? Like I do gong healing and journeying, right? So I have a dear, dear friend, Sue. She's been on the show many times. She does an energy healing with a healing master. So we all do things differently, but the concept is the same. We're retrieving fragments of our soul energy that's out in the quantum time fields, experiencing these other lifetimes to clear up some karmic shit, pardon my language, but that shit, so we can move on from it. The relationship will either fall apart or it will heal. You'll get the job or you won't. But the whole point is to clear that energy out so that we're free of that karma. And so that is what karma and fate is. So when we talk about why do we get a reading, I want you to be empowered when you're getting a psychic reading with this knowledge that you are not tied to what the psychic is telling you is going to happen. What you're tied to is what you're creating. So the psychic is telling you, here's what you're creating. Okay, that's what the psychic is telling you. And hi, Tamara, welcome in. Hello. The psychic's telling you what you're creating. That's what the energy is telling us when we look at it in the quantum time fields. You do not have to continue to create that energy, right? It's up to you to create from the information. And this is all part of this whole new series I'm doing on Buddhist Biohacker, and I hope you join me for this journey. We're going to come together every full moon and every new moon. We're going to have a nice practice. So if you're just joining now, definitely go back to the beginning when the show is over so that you can do the full moon meditation practice on acceptance. And then we're going to do some talking about how to use psychic information to create a better life for yourself. That is what this show is about, and live readings. Yes, because I want to demonstrate for you how we can do this. So, okay, we've talked about everything on my little list for the most part. I've got my card cam here on my harmonium. So I'm going to move my books aside because I have my cards right here. And for those of you that care at all, this is a beautiful white kafta, and this was given to me and blessed by the Dalai Lama, which is why it will live upon my harmonium forever and ever. So I have my cards here. If you have a question, if you have something you're struggling with, something you want to know about, throw it in the chat. I am going to have a call-in number, hopefully by the next time we're on. So you'll be able to call in too, which how fun is that? I wanted to do something old school, but for today we'll do chat. So throw your questions in the chat. And if you don't have a question for you, I'm all for us talking about what's happening in the world as well. It's interesting. I had the interview with Pam Gregory, and she and I were talking about Texas. And now look at the news since that interview. It's just wild. So it definitely, it amazes me how the energy manifests. Like, I see Texas separating from the US. What does that mean? I don't know. And then here it manifests, at least it's starting to manifest with this news of them kind of acting out against the federal government. So it's kind of interesting how that works. So just all very, very peculiar how things happen in the world. So I'd love a question. Throw it out. Let's do it, because I have my cards right here and I am ready for you. And I see there's a lot of you watching live, so don't be shy. Don't be shy. Just throw something out. I'd love to look at it. We're going to talk about, how these psychic readings work. I've been reading cards for so long now. Oh my gosh. So I've been reading cards since I was like 15, and I just love them. They're my babies. I only read with Rider-Waite, and that's because the colors of Rider-Waite these colors, whoops, as I drop cards on the ground, the colors of the Rider-Waite really represent the elements, and there's so much symbolism and occult symbolism. So here we go. I've got some questions. I love it. Hey, Cheryl, Colorado Herbalist. We love her. She has many shows on this channel. You would like to know when and how we might shift out of our current financial situation. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle these guys. So questions are everything. That's the other thing, is you never want to ask a bad question. And honestly, it doesn't really matter to me anymore because I've been doing this for so long. But when you are doing cards for yourself, try to be as specific as you can, because you might ask a question like Cheryl's question is a great one. She wants to know when and how they might shift out of their current financial situation. What you wouldn't want to ask is, will we shift out of the current financial situation? Because of course you will, because who knows when that would be. So Cheryl's got a nice specific question here, and I see some other questions coming in here. So that's awesome. So I'm going to get to all of you. Just post away. And here we go, Cheryl. When and how we might shift out of the current situation. Okay, financial. I'm just going to do a boring old Celtic cross. I know, but you know what, guys? OG. I'm OG with my cards. Let me tell you. Kind of lay it across my computer. I don't know if you can see that, my computer. It's a harmonium, not a computer, but whatever. All right, Cheryl. So when I look at this, the first thing I do is something called card scanning. Okay. So with card scanning, I'm looking at the colors and I'm looking at kind of the suits and just the general themes. So first off, Cheryl, I would say when and how. You have so much gold here, especially where you're kind of the ultimate goal is in the gold. So I do feel like there is some abundance starting to move in. You can see how it's coming in. But where you're headed, so many swords, so much gray here. This is very mental. So just from scanning this, I would say I do think you're shifting out of your current financial situation now. This looks like the energy is in motion. But I think you're in your head too much. You or your partner, because here is the King of Swords. So I would say it's probably more of your partner that's in the head too much thinking. And there's actually education here for you. So how will you shift out of this current situation? Possibly education, certification, going back to school, teaching. I know what you do for a living, Cheryl, because you are the Colorado herbalist. So maybe you're going to be adding something to your practice or studying something, or maybe your partner is also going to go to school or learn a new technical. There's a lot of technical energy in here. Don't ask me how that works for me. It's just, I know from looking at these cards, that there's a lot of technical energy. So maybe he's going to go learn a new technical trade as well. Now, when telling time, folks, not easy since the awakening of 2020. Let me tell you, it was so much easier before. And now there's so much creation in the quantum time fields. I mean, just so much creation. So timing, you've got 2s, you've got 5s, lots of 5s, 2s, and 9s. So when I look at this, 2s could be February, which is next month. 5s could be May, but it could be 5 weeks, right? 9s could be 9 weeks. I would say between the 2s, the 5s, and the 9s, you're going to shift out as soon as next month, but for sure by May. So I think you're looking at like February to May being when you're going to shift out. I also see a vacation in here randomly. So I don't know if you're planning on traveling someplace, but that might actually influence your financial situation to the positive, believe it or not. Ultimately, it looks like, by May, I think you're going to be in a much better space. So when I look at this, I'd say get out of your head, stop overthinking everything and start taking action. Get out of the fear too. Get out of the fear. Let's see if I can do this with this camera. Get out of the fear with that 9 of Wands. So hopefully that answered your question, Cheryl. And so let's go back to the fate and destiny. So right now, Cheryl's current trajectory is that she's moving out of a tough kind of mental heavy hardship phase into hopefully a brighter phase with even some travel. But it's talking about getting in your head too much. So that's where she can start to create different energy, coming into the heart space, coming into the creator space, choosing what you want to create for yourself, Cheryl, in your life and in your finances is what's going to be really, really important there. So hopefully that is helpful for sure. And thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here to these questions because Danielle was next. And how to discover your inner magic or gifts to share. I love that you're asking this question, Danielle, and I don't even need the cards for it, although let's pull one. Let's pull one out of here. Oh, I love this. It's strength. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Strength. That's the lion, right? And there's an angel taking care of the lion. And so the thing about strength, the archetype of the strength card is you have the strength, but you also need the strength. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So your question is how to discover your inner magic. And I'll use strength kind of as my guide to answer this as well. But I just posted on Threads and Instagram this idea, and I might have put it on the YouTube too, but community page. But I posted this idea of I've been exploring what I loved to do when I was a kid, because I really want to see what are my grooves, like what are the things that have carried through my life that I want to weave into my life now in this new chapter that we're in. And so when you think about discovering your inner magic or your gifts that you want to share with the world, Danielle, I would say start there. Think about what you loved as a kid. What did you love to do? One of the things that I got print shop. We had our very first desktop computer and internet when I was like 14. And very big deal for all of us in the 90s when that opened up and we finally had computers. And I loved print shop. I loved designing banners and cards and images and all sorts of things on print shop. And here I am today designing art and apparel. This shirt is my design, doing YouTube, all these things. And so that's kind of how that thread has woven through my life. So I would say do some journaling. Like I'd offer, do some journaling about, what you really loved that you want to bring back into your life. However, Danielle, this strength card is really speaking to me, and I'm hearing spirit say for you, Danielle, that maybe you're not believing in yourself as much as you should. Maybe you are feeling like you don't have something to share, or maybe you're feeling like you really don't know what that is. And so the message that I'm getting for you when I look at this strength card and when I sit with the energy is just that you have these beautiful inherent gifts, and it's really trusting in yourself, trusting that you have those gifts and really just claiming them and stepping into them. That's what I'm getting for you. And feeling that strength, feeling that the angels are 100%, those angels are 100%, let's see, I'll flip it this way. They are 100% guarding you and guiding you, Danielle, towards what you're here to do, what your purpose is, and what you're meant for. So hopefully that is an answer for you for sure. Carrie, someone that I know recently died but lives. He had an interesting experience while he was in between the world. I wonder if he was experiencing purgatory or karma. Well, isn't that an interesting question, Carrie? I wonder that as well. And, what is purgatory? I watched this really powerful near-death experience on YouTube. I love near-death experiences. I've had a couple. So I really love hearing everyone's near-death experience. And she was talking about how she was just kind of trapped in this box and she couldn't get out of it. And it took her a long time to get out of the box. Meanwhile, she was in a coma in the hospital. And I think maybe that's what purgatory is. Ooh, and I get goosebumps when I say that. I kind of wonder if purgatory, the idea of purgatory, right? Like the idea of that, I wonder if that's really these tough places that we go into as a soul to kind of learn some tough things. So I'm curious about that. And karma, it could be, but it wouldn't necessarily be the karma about his experience. His experience would be more, maybe he was dipping into another timeline. He was dipping into another lifetime. It would have been the karma is the action. So the karma wouldn't have been the life. The karma would be the action that took him to that life and brought him back, if that makes sense. All right. Let's see here. Okay, Tamara's question. Thinking of shifting my career into contract law. Oh gosh, y'all, I'm 45. Here we go. I've got to wear glasses to read my own chat. That's not good. Okay, thinking of shifting my career into contract law in the music industry. Is this a direction? It'll be a fruitful career path. Wow, I kind of like that. I like that a lot. Law school. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle on that. All right, shifting my career. So this is a great example. We're going to go back to our little lesson, right? Our lesson about fate and destiny and karma, and we create our life is Tamara wants to create something new for herself, and she wants to know if this is a good idea. So what we're using the cards for, and this is a great way to get a reading, by the way. This is a great reason to go and get a reading, is when you're contemplating a new path for yourself or a couple different paths, then we can look at the energy of those paths and see, like, how does that align with your energy field? How does it feel? What is the outcome going to be if you pursue that? And it can help you make decisions for sure. So here we go. We got the devil's right there. So we know you're not happy where you are. Hangman, lots of transition. Ooh, there's your school card right in the future. So I'd say school is in your energy field. So again, we create our life. This is in her near future in the Celtic cross. This is your clock. Oops. Your clock is past, like far past, distant past, recent past, near future, ultimate outcome. Okay. So the Celtic cross kind of does a little clock. Okay. And with this little clock, what this is showing me is that in her near future is the Hierophant, which is all about education. Now it is spiritual education too, Tamara, so keep that in mind. But all in all, what this is showing me is that if you pursue that, you're still going to be trying to make money. You're still going to be in the same place. So here's what I would say. I do think, Tamara, that you are going to do some kind of education, and pursuing law looks like it's in your field. So contract law is in your field, for sure, pursue it. What I would say is, from an outcome, don't expect it to be a different outcome. You might make the same amount of money, but you're going to be doing that different thing. So I think it's getting clear with yourself where your passion is and what would make you feel happy. Now, the thing I'd say, though, is you have a new beginning if you're focused on yourself. And so I would say going into any kind of contract work that you're doing right now as a consultant would actually be a better thing than a big company, whether it's for music or whatever you're going to do. So anyway, so I would say I don't think it's going to be financial growth, but I think it would be a different path to make what you're making now. So that's what I'd say about that. So I'd explore it a little bit and just see what comes up for you. Hopefully that helped. Danielle, thank you so much. 100% accurate. Thank you. Yes, believe in yourself, Danielle. You can do it. Okay, we're going to do one more question, and then please don't leave. I hate it when I'm like at the end and everybody goes away and you're just by yourself with the crickets, like chirp, chirp, chirp. So please stay with me because I do have some fun announcements and I want to share them with you. Okay, so Jacqueline, I left a 30-year career in sales and know that is not what I am meant to do. Can you tell me when I will recognize the path? And am I correct in thinking it's energy healing? So Jacqueline, not just for you, I'm shuffling the cards for you, not just for you, but for everybody on here. If you are there, we cannot deny our spiritual gifts with all of this Aquarian energy and Pluto shifted into Aquarius and the awakening and the way that our world is. Like, you can't ignore or deny your spiritual gifts anymore. So I think what I want to say is, if you're feeling called to step onto your path, you want to do it. Now, you want to do it in a way that supports you, and it's not an easy life. Like, I have a husband, or else I would still be working full time and also doing readings full time, which is what I did for many, many, many years. So I'm very lucky and blessed that I'm in a place where I can, do my own thing. But like, I'm just saying, it's not easy. So you want to take care of yourself, but you also, want to get on your path. Okay, so going back to you, Jacqueline. Sorry, I got to fix this. I'm sitting on a block, which sounds crazy, but it's very helpful for my back and it's poking my tailbone, so I have to move. Okay. All right, so here we go, Jacqueline. Here's your cards. So first and foremost, what I would say is you 100% are right about a brand new path. Here you are, Ace of Cups. I love this card. It's all the Mary Magdalene, the Mary complex, Mother Mary, all of those energies. It's also a new beginning. It's also the season of summer. It looks like, Jacqueline, you've been quite in transition. You got the Hangman here, which is a transition card, and it's usually over a year. So, and you also have some education and stuff in here as well. You have community projects, and you also have this guy. I love him because his meaning is you want to walk away, but you keep getting pulled back, which is probably what's happening with your sales career right now. You probably want to go, but it pulls you back, right? Because of the financial piece, because we are existing in this system, whether we want to or not, right? We're existing in the system. So all of that to say, Jacqueline, here's what you're creating right now. We're going to change our language. So what you're creating for yourself energetically right now is that things are kind of up in the air for you. I'd say you're in a transitionary period, and you've either been in that period for the last year, or you're still going to be in it for another year. You're kind of somewhere in between. So I think you're in this transition space. 100% you're moving into spiritual teaching and healing. And it could be by this summer, or it could be the next summer because of the timing on this. But the season of summer is a real blossoming for you in your work. And it's showing that most of your success with your energy work is going to come through community. So community networking, building community, joining communities, going to metaphysical fairs, connecting with people, other healers, yoga festivals, whatever that looks like for you. But really getting connected is going to really bring you not only the most joy, but it's also going to bring you money and abundance as well. I think you're going to try to leave. You probably already have been trying to leave. I think you're going to keep getting pulled back into your sales job just because of the financial piece, but I don't think you're there much longer. I don't know. There's a lot of energy around November and December. So you've got some really good energy here. So I would say for sure, you're on the right path. You're on the right track. I think just being patient with yourself, because you have that Hangman. There's two cards in the deck that mean change. The Death card, which is complete and sudden change, and the Hangman is transitional change. It's takes a lot longer. So the Death card's like, oh, I lost my job and everything's different. The Hangman is more like, oh, a year ago, I was in a totally different place than I am today, but it took a lot of like subtle steps to get there. So hopefully that helps as well. So really great questions. I love it. And I am definitely going to be doing more of this. So I have another little reading for you from my Osho book about acceptance that I just want to share with you. Another little thought, and then I have a few announcements for everybody who's here. Okay. Everything that is beautiful, even ugliness. Whatsoever is, whether you accept it or not. Your acceptance or rejection makes no difference. That which is. If you accept it, you have joy arising in you. If you reject it, you have pain, but the reality remains the same. You may have pain, but that is your creation because you were not able to accept something that was arising. You were rejecting truth. Reject truth, and you become imprisoned. The truth remains whether you accept it or reject it. So love that, because it's just another reminder that when we feel pain, we're rejecting truth. There's something we don't want to accept. And when we are accepting, we feel joy, right? Which is my favorite thing in the world. Oh, and thank you, Jacqueline. I love that comment right there. Look at that. Oh, thank you for sharing that. So I want to leave you with a few thoughts. So first off, thank you for joining me for this show. And if you are watching the replay later, please drop some comments or questions as well. And I'll be back again in 2 weeks on the new moon for this show. We're going to do it twice a month. We have our next guest on Buddhist Biohacker. Our next interview is Kelly Wendorf from Equus, which is this incredible horse therapy place. down in New Mexico. So I'm really excited to have her here. And I'm really excited. Her book is Flying Lead Change. So if you haven't read that book, please get on it because you'll be able to ask her questions live. When we come back on this show in 2 weeks, I'm hoping to have my phone line all set up and you can actually call in, which I think is pretty fun. So do that as well. And yes, Crystal, welcome in. Oh, I love you so much. And yeah, watch the replay if you're just joining in because we did a nice full moon meditation. I want to offer those every full and new moon. And then I have so much going on. I'm going to try not to bombard everyone with everything, but I have some brand new workshops. I have a weekend retreat that's coming up at my yoga studio in the month of March. And I just want to share, I got an email from someone who was sharing that they really didn't have any money for my services and they were concerned about like being a part of my community. And I just want to share with you all, I try to offer as much free content as I can, YouTube, blogs, community stuff, calls, webinars. I've got some things coming up in February because I want to make sure that it's accessible. For those of you that do want to dive a little deeper, you can join my membership community. It's only $33 a month. I have over 1,200 videos in my school in the Buddhist Biohacker portal. We have a private community, just like Facebook, but private. I own all the information so that we're not censored and we can share. And it's a place where you can actually direct chat with me as well. And we have some groups in there and everything. I have courses and workshops in there. So please, please, please check out the Buddhist Biohacker portal. And I want to share just a sneak peek that February is going to be Self-Love Month. And myself and my team are going to be offering a free month in that app. So if you're interested, read all about it and then join the free webinars and come in for free. Take a yoga class, a block class, be part of our new Tarot cohorts. So again, go to my website and explore. I have a lot going on and I have my free winter guide. It's a 40-page magazine that's available right now to help support your wellness. So that's a lot of stuff, but I just want to share that I do have a lot of free and complimentary content for you as well as paid. And of course, I am always available for readings. If you're interested in a reading or a healing, or if you're interested in functional Ayurveda and doing some testing. So I love all of you so much. I hope you very much enjoyed our new Quantum Seer show. And I look forward to seeing all of you. I believe I'll see all of you with Kelly on the 4th, and then I'll be back on the 18th, or it's the opposite. I'll be back on the 4th and we'll be with Kelly on the 18th. I can't remember, but anyway, thank you all so, so much. Happy full moon. Have a fabulous, fabulous day. Oh yes, Crystal, check out the portal, you guys. It's only $33. If you go to my website and you hit join, you'll see all the information, but my school is in there. My courses are in there. I do live classes 3 times a week in there. It's great. And I'm trying to make everything as accessible as possible because I know that we're all in this wild world that we live in. So thank you so, so much. And remember, existence already accepts you. Existence already accepts you. Happy full moon. Much love to all of you and have a fabulous day. Bye.